If we pay extra, could we maybe get some grease or fat?
So today is day 41 of one meal a day, and today I am again having ribeyes. They had ribeye on sale at Publix for $6.99 a pound, and I couldn't help it, man. I had to load up. Even though I got a cow coming soon, I had to kind of push out the cow date because I'm not going to Georgia to get my teeth done until January. So that worked out real good. And I also had them put a little bit more burger meat in my order this time because I really enjoyed the Warrior burger, you know, where they mix the organs in, and I want some of the chuck roast to be mixed in with the burger meat now. And I'm sticking with the ribeyes and the other steaks that I had last time, but I just can't get over how much I enjoyed burger meat on that cow to where we were able to order it that way. Now this has been going for about 5 minutes. It's good and preheated at 400 degrees. I'm gonna go ahead and put in these ribeyes that I'm gonna cook for today. I've got a couple of packs of ribs now from the ribeyes that I've gone through over the past few days. So I'm saving up to have a good rib meal here soon. And I try to keep everything clean as I go, always cleaning. That's another thing that's been really neat on this diet is that it used to be I kind of counted on either the restaurant to make me food or my wife to make me some food or somebody to make me some food. Now I handle all my own food making, and it's made a big difference in my overall lifestyle and appearance. So maybe it's just the responsibility of doing it myself that made such a big difference. But either way, I think it's all part of the process of what we need to be able to have that body and mind and lifestyle we were looking for. Just like that, they were ready. So here it is, Christmas Day. I am having a New York strip steak and a ribeye. And then I'm off to the family party. I had to step outside of our Christmas celebration to tell you that I know one thing. When your in-laws buy you sharp knives, like my mother-in-law got for me, you know you've arrived. When they're willing to give you sharp knives, they trust you with their family. And then on top of that, my brother-in-law got me a knife as well, which I'm looking forward to trying out. Look at this puppy. Oh. So I survived cinnamon-covered sugar cookies and snickerdoodles, things that used to just suck me in, donuts, you name it, they got it here. It's candies and cookies galore. Here it is the day after Christmas, and I have not prepared well. After getting back from my brother-in-law's house last night, I didn't pull out any meat, so I've pulled out some rib roast to work on for the next few days. But I do have some meat ready that I wanted to work on. I'm going to start a sous vide this evening. That's going to include this shoulder roast. All I've got ready right now are some ribs, which need to slow cook. And let's see, we've got a petite sirloin that was opened yesterday. A New York strip steak. It's about 3/4 of a pound. That's about half a pound. I need a little more than that. Let's see what we got here. Grass-fed beef Denver steak. Denver steak might be a little tough for the air fryer, but I'm gonna have to make it work because that's all I've got defrosted. But man, I'm still looking forward to picking up that cow soon. Still a few more days away on that. So we may be having a little bit of an experiment here with three very different cuts of meat with a Denver steak, which is a lot like a flank steak by looking at it. You got your New York strip steak, which is well marbled. I mean, this looks like prime. It's so well marbled. And then you've got a nice piece of sirloin here. All of these are grass-fed, grass-finished, which is kind of surprising too, because they come from 3 different locations. One came from, I believe, Walmart, one came from Aldi, and one came from Carnivore Prime. So I got this thing preheated to 400 degrees. We're gonna dive in and Put these three up together. Let's see if we can do them for 7 minutes. Because of their thinness overall, they don't think they're gonna need a whole lot more than that, even though there's 3 of them. We'll just have to see how they do with the same amount of time. I have a feeling that Denver steak's gonna be a bit tough. Let's see, so we're gonna get ready to do some sous vide today. Hopefully I'll be able to make this work a little better than the last time. Last time I only let it go for an hour. But we're gonna do a nice piece of shoulder roast in a sous vide for 36 hours. And that'll be my first real experiment with sous vide to try it out. I hope everyone had a Merry Christmas. So this is the plate my mother-in-law got me for Christmas. I love this plate. This is just perfect for the way I like to eat my meat. Feels like I'm out in the woods.
Come on, Fizz.
I've already eaten it all, but the Denver cut was the best of all 3 cuts of meat so far. It was tougher, it was just so tasty. I think I overcooked the sirloin just a little bit. All right, now that I know about sous vide a little bit, I'm gonna get this ready way early. I'm gonna use a little more water this time so I can make sure that I get the meat all the way down to the bottom without any trouble. I'll find something to use for a weight. I've ordered a steak rack so that I can start cooking this stuff the right way. And we'll get a bag ready for shoulder steak. So one of the things that I don't like about sous vide is I hate dealing with the vacuum sealed bags because one, I'm iffy about cleaning them. The ones I have say that they're reusable. I already destroyed one in the process last time trying to figure out how to do it. So I was just about to take this shoulder roast out of this vacuum sealed bag so that I could put it in a vacuum sealed bag. And then I realized these bags that I get from Big Mo Cattle are already in these vacuum sealed bags that are ready to go and for sous vide. It just didn't dawn on me before. So I'm at 106 degrees now, just waiting for it to get to 150. I am really looking forward to seeing how this comes out in this sous vide, that big chunk of fat going through there. I mean, if this comes out as soft and delicious as I hear sous vide does, this is gonna be fantastic, this shoulder roast. Ooh, but that just dawned on me. I can't dry brine. Salt it ahead of time that way. But I really like that convenience. I'm gonna see how it comes out if I do the sous vide cook, add the salt after, then do the sear and see how it comes out. Let's check in on our meat here. We're at the next morning, so it's been here, well, it's got 23 hours left, so what is that? 15 hours later. We've had 15 hours of cooking going on here. Looking good. So today I am gonna have 2 to 3 of these ribeyes because these are kind of thin or narrow. Well, it's about 3/4 of a pound per piece here. So I'm gonna have close to 3 pieces of this ribeye today. I've already got it salted, been salting overnight. 1, 2, 3. 3 ribeyes and 1 meal a day. Okay, the next minute and 50 seconds of this video, you may want to skip through only if you're not interested in seeing what kind of work you can do on 1 meal a day. A lot of people have told me that you're not going to have any energy eating this way, having too many fast periods. And from what I've been able to tell, I've had plenty of energy, been able to get plenty of work done. It's truly amazing what this diet has done for my body overall, just to be able to lift this kind of heavy stuff and have the strength that I have now. There was a time that I could barely even get my own self out of bed because I was so exhausted. Now, I was always strong, but I just didn't have the energy to do anything. But on this diet, I got tons of energy. I'm able to keep working through when I normally would want to stop. Now, granted, I have to drink a lot of water to keep working like this, especially when it's hot outside. But it's just nice to be able to keep going and going and use my body this way when I'm about to be 50 years old and I've spent a little bit too much time sitting in front of the computer. Let's take a look at this and see how we look at 38 hours. All right, looks definitely cooked. We're gonna have to add some salt because we did not put anything in this. Also, I noticed that I lost about 60 to 70% of the water that was in here, as it's gone down tremendously over that amount of time. All right, well, this is definitely messier than using an air fryer. Let's see how this came out. Tender, isn't it?
Very.
It doesn't quite like fall apart. It doesn't have like broken pieces of meat and everything. Definitely don't need a knife to cut it. Let's see if we can take a look at this bone here. Little oyster of meat here. Oh man, it's just loaded with nutrients. I wish it was bigger. So sous vide shoulder roast. I haven't even put any salt on this yet. Here I am eating it. I haven't put one drop of salt on it yet. I haven't put anything on this. What am I thinking? It doesn't have any sear of any kind yet. I just jumped right in because I was hungry. And enjoyed the heck out of it. It's my first time searing a piece of meat with a flame torch, but I know you want to keep the blue flame off the meat, so I'm being very careful not to get too close to the meat. I'll have a link for this torch in my description down here if you're interested in getting something similar. This is my first real experiment with messing with searing of any kind, other than trying a little pan sear on some stuff. Still feel like I'm not getting close enough. Hope I don't catch the wood block on fire. Doesn't seem to be like catching anything on fire, it's just burning the tip of it, but I imagine it's very hot right there on the end. I've never been much on presentation at all, and I've always kind of compared this to presentation. Well, let's see if there's actually a flavor difference when we're all said and done. Adding the salt makes a world of difference. I'll eat until I'm completely full, and that'll be my one meal today. Shoulder roast. Came out delicious. Now, I suspect if I'd have put the salt on earlier, that it would have soaked into the meat more and got the juices to come out a lot more. I am so full. I've eaten close to 2 pounds of this meat, without a doubt. I'm gonna have one more bite. Let me go ahead and get some. This is the other thing about this, man. There's a lot of steps involved in using sous vide. I mean, I don't mind. It's like if you're gonna plan to do something, but if you're gonna plan to have a meal type of thing, and this is why I didn't jump on this early. If you're gonna plan to do a new way of eating, it needs to be as simple as possible. And sous vide, though, is great for softening up food. It definitely does not lend itself to simplicity. Getting the right amount of water is kind of a little bit of a pain in the butt, and then making sure that it doesn't overflow above the max line, and trying to get everything to fit in this small little space without touching the metal thing, if that even matters. I'm not even sure. Maybe that's the biggest thing, is that I'm just not used to using sous vide, and I got used to the air fryer very quickly, but it's just so doggone simple. That's one of the things I love about it. We're gonna do an 18-hour cook on this one at 135 degrees. I gotta figure out what I wanna do with vacuum bags. So now this is another thing that's not intuitive right away when you're used to just taking the meat out and putting some salt on it. Now I gotta think about vacuum sealing it. Which size bag do I wanna use? Which size bags do I have? How many size bags do I have? How many size bags should I have? Now we got the bavette. All right, so if we put both of those, can we fit both of those in here? I don't know. See, that's another thing, is I don't know how. I gotta think through the problem, I guess. And maybe I'm overthinking everything. Just not used to doing it. Feels like a waste to use an individual bag on every one, though I've seen the guy on Sous-vide Everything channel do just that. Go ahead and pick up the excess salt here with the edge. But we're gonna go ahead and give it our best here. Get this air out of here. Is this really how this works? There we go. All right, so we got 2 pieces of meat ready to go. And I'm gonna go ahead and try out this new rack thing I bought. So we'll go ahead and stick these in. Let's see, look at that. This thing was vacuumed down and now it's not. Why? What happened? All right, so put that one in right here. Grass-fed beef skirt steak. So it's a 10-ounce bavette, a 14-ounce flank steak, and 12 ounces of skirt steak. Altogether, 36 ounces, so a little over 2 pounds, 2¼ pounds. I know I look like I'm very uncomfortable with all that I'm doing here, but this is all out of my element. Trying to cook different cuts of meat, trying to cook a different style of cooking, because I want to open my horizons to all the different cuts that are out there, but I gotta be able to eat the meat. And if I want to be able to eat it, it's got to be soft enough for me to eat. There's definitely something to be found in going through the learning of doing this, regardless of the outcome. The benefit is in the doing. There, I finally found the sweet spot. All right, there we go. Now let's see if I can get it in here. We're gonna do 135 degrees for 18 hours on these 3 pieces of meat, coming out to about 2¼ pounds. And hopefully this will be ready for us in the morning, or in the late part of tomorrow morning, to have for our 1 meal a day. I don't know if I'm gonna choose to have these for my 1 meal a day tomorrow or not. I'm leaning towards just go ahead and making a couple of ribeyes in the air fryer, because I really love the way they come out of the air fryer. And so far my experience with sous vide has been mediocre. I mean, I was able to do a decent job with a shoulder steak. It was very soft. Wasn't as soft as I expected it would be. The first piece of meat I didn't cook long enough, so I found out that you have to use a lot more than 1 hour to really get the benefit of sous vide. And you really got to plan ahead with sous vide, because if you want to do something that's going to do a good cook, you got to know when you're going to stop it, and where you're going to be when you stop it is important.
If we pay extra, could we maybe get some grease or fat?